Welcome back to another take from Me Killing It.
I'm Tyler.
I'm Matt.
And I'm Kindy.
Before we go into today's episode, I just want to take a second to say thank you so much for listening and for helping this show by leaving a 5-star rating and positive review on Apple Podcasts or a like and subscribe on YouTube. It really helps the show get on the charts and for more people like us to discover it. So thank you again so very much.
And without further ado, on to the fun. So today we are talking about Life, 1999 movie starring Eddie Murphy, Martin Lawrence, Obaba Babatunde, Anthony Anderson, of course, the great Bernie Mac, Barry Shabaka Henley, and so many others, Ned Beatty, Miguel Nunez Jr. The director of photography was Jeffrey Simpson. The director is Ted Dem and was written by Robert Ramsey and Matthew Stone. Of course, spoiler warnings, as always, and it is rated R for strong language, shooting, and yeah, pretty much everything.
Yeah, there's some racism in there.
Definitely.
That white-only pie scene is really intense.
Dude.
Really intense.
It happens twice. Twice.
I can't. Ugh.
That
I
scene is
can't.
really intense.
It makes all your creepy crawlies on the back of your neck stand up the whole time he's trying to convince him to, nicely walk back out the door.
Yeah.
Because these people in here were not about to listen to nothing.
And you could purposefully tell they made that female waiter look like as rough as possible.
Just to really let it set in if it hasn't.
Man, it was just
One of the things that immediately stands out about Life is the chemistry between Eddie Murphy and Martin Lawrence, or Ray and Claude in the movie. The two comedians have a great comedic timing, and their performances are both hilarious and heartfelt, and the dynamic between their characters is also a lot of fun to watch as they try to make the best out of their terrible situation that they've literally stumbled upon.
oh man.
Talk about wrong place, wrong time.
Exactly, man.
Dude, like, don't investigate the noises and leave the dead body alone.
Just
Okay?
go to sleep and it'll be okay. There are a lot of funny scenes with them arguing, but I really like when they start to become real friends as they get older. Like when they get older, that's when their friendship is the best because they don't give a crap anymore, man. They old, they've served time together, they've hated each other, and there's nothing else to do. You might as well like each other.
Right.
For real though, this movie is like 90% funny, but every time he's like, "Man, I missed your voice," I'm always like, "Oh."
Right, because they're bubbas.
Mhm.
And they go through everything together, absolutely everything. They've seen everything together now.
Yeah,
It's ridiculous.
they've been through it.
Another standout aspect of the film, of course, is the supporting cast, which includes our big heavy hitters, Bernie Mac, Obaba Babatunde, and Ned Beatty, who all deliver chef's kiss performances.
For real.
Mhm.
They help make the prison environment feel so much more authentic and real. They add a whole lot of depth to everything. I mean, Django Leg makes everyone laugh so hard.
Picture
Bernie
Will on the
Mac,
jaw.
oh my gosh.
I don't know how they filmed Bernie Mac playing this character because I would not have been able to keep a straight face, especially if he was talking to me. Like
He's just so extra, and he's like looking at his target all like, you gonna giggle?
Yeah.
You gonna giggle? And then in the meanwhile, everybody in the background is just dying.
Just rubbing his suspenders is just great.
No, this too gay to function character was just so over the top, and our TV couldn't even handle it and shut off that first scene.
It really did too. It I was like,
Oh my
nah,
God.
not today.
The
Not
TV
today.
was like, it was gay. I don't like it. Off.
This ain't it, Chief.
Dude.
This ain't it.
No.
Wrong movie. My bad.
Just everyone around them reactions to that whole scene is just amazing because everybody got like a different emotion
Yeah.
about it. Like, and Biscuit especially, because Biscuit is actually Jangle Egg's girlfriend in this, so
Yeah.
she's in the back just all sorts of
Bro, it's
offended
the best.
and storms
Because
off.
she had like a pail of water or something, and then the guard's like, "You pitching Woo on a job?" And she just drops the pail of water, and puts her hands on her face.
How could you?
Just so
And
mad.
then
So
we
great.
we see them go to the cafeteria right after that, and Biscuit and Jangleg are just sitting right next to each other, and she's just hard staring at him, and
Yep.
he's just looking off in the distance,
Yeah, man.
eating, shaking.
Like, well, we'll
My man
see.
knows he's in trouble.
No.
For real. You just hear J. Cole start
Man, it's gonna
playing.
be a long night for them.
There's a lot of karma in this movie too, I want to say, especially when it comes to Claude, because like Claude files for that appeal to get out, and then they're like his fiance was like, you want to apply for Ray too, you want to get Ray out too, and he was like, nah, Ray just tied me down, he probably been in and out of jail, no, we don't want to do that. And then he gets his appeal denied, right? But that's karma, baby. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you should have tried to take him.
Yep.
We see karma for the sheriff, who later turns into, I guess, the intendant, superintendent. I don't know.
He's either I think he's actually becoming like the new head guard, because the head guard got real old.
Yeah, or the new warden, something like that.
Yeah.
But we see, like you said, a lot of karma in here. I also really just like the great soundtrack that they've put into this film. They've got songs featuring James Brown, Ray Charles, and B.B. King. The music really helps to set the tone and create a great atmosphere, and the scenery they used really drops me into the 1930s. Everything is dirty. It looks hot. The town scene before Ray and Claude get caught with the dead body is a great example, in my opinion. Like, it looks so amazing for that time. It tells you what time you're in, really. Like, nowhere around that, nowhere today looks like that. Like you can immediately tell, okay, we're not in 2023, we're in the last century. Got it.
It's beautiful. It really, really, really highlighted beautiful clothes, beautiful cuts on those clothing for everyone.
I think they did really well with the dirtiness too.
Everything just looked aged, and
with no roads and everything being dirt roads and everything. Like, they did really well at showing how dirty it would be. You know what I mean? All the country, even before they go to jail, all the country folk and everything that they meet all look dirty. And they did that really, I think that's a really important and well shown detail.
Right. I mean, like, if you can't figure it out for yourself, when you meet one of these hillbillies that pull up to Ray and Claude, you can just see like this softball size of fucking, or you can just see this softball size of cud, or chewing tobacco, whatever you want to call it. It was just the nastiest glob of it all.
Bro, they always spit out like a whole mouthful of spit too, like they just been holding it in.
Oh my gosh. And this man was talking with that stuff. He was taking sips of the
whiskey.
The whiskey with it, and just, oh my God, please just shut your mouth.
Go wash it with bleach, come back.
Dude, he not gonna have a jaw.
That's fine.
Yeah,
his jaw gonna rot off.
That's okay. He was gross. He
ain't using it.
Ugh.
Now this movie's really, really funny. However, it's not just a comedy. It's also a movie that deals with some serious issues and social commentaries at the time. like the injustices of the prison system, the racism and discrimination that Black people faced during that time period. This film doesn't shy away from these things, and it handles them with a great deal of sensitivity and nuance, especially for the time at which this film was created, because they even show a few LGBTQ issues, and it has, like, hands down the saddest and most realistic scene involving Biscuit, a beloved trans woman also serving time. We say a trans woman because she's shown that way, and her partner says, "Get it, girl," while she is singing in a scene.
Mhm.
But this character doesn't want to go home because they don't want their mother to see them this way as this person. And it's a hard scene to watch. It's a very hard scene to watch, and it was handled very well. Like, not just for
Mhm.
that time, but for this time. Like, movies don't handle that well even now sometimes. So it's really nice to see the care involved.
Right.
I also love, and hate the scene with Ned Beatty as Superintendent Dexter Wilkins, realizing the gravity of the injustice he's played his part in. He realizes that Ray and Claude are innocent, and it
It kills him.
very literally kills him. He goes up to the bathroom and dies while going to the bathroom. His heart just gave
Like, oh
out.
my gosh.
I can't even imagine, to realize that, because he had already said, they had that scene where him and Claude were talking, and Claude was like, "Yeah, I've been here for 40 years. It's a hell of a lot longer when you're innocent." And then Wilkins was like, "Well, everybody says they're innocent. Don't you think that's kind of funny?" And
And
Claude's
he's like, no.
like, "No, actually, I don't."
No.
Yeah,
Forgive
man.
me if I
Just
don't
like
laugh.
So, like, I'm
the
sure the
gravity of
gravity
all of
hit him
it.
hard, man.
'Cause he was old man
Yep,
at that point.
yep.
They all were.
They all were.
But it also highlights too, like, you can't just sit on issues. You have to have more urgency about it. He should have written up the pardons right then,
Yep.
or told the assistant to start working on it right away, because we're not guaranteed anything.
Never.
Even if he would have told the police the actual story of what had happened, that might have even helped. Because when he was talking to the police at the end of it, he was telling them a different story. And Claude was like, "Why don't you just tell them the truth?" And he was like, "Nobody wants to hear the truth." And if he would have told them the truth, that might have helped,
Maybe, yeah.
Maybe. Depends on the judges in the area.
Yeah.
And they were
mean,
they
that
were not in a good area.
No, man,
that camp was
they were in Mississippi,
there for a
right?
long
I think
time.
so. And they
Yeah.
came from New York. What did you?
It was less a prison than it was a plantation,
Yeah.
labor camp.
I didn't see a white
Yep.
prisoner.
It's set in Parchman, Mississippi, and it was filmed in California. That's crazy.
Overall, this is a comedy movie that manages to be both really funny and poignant. It's a film that's aged well. It's all still very recent events, very relevant to today. Like, this all still happened within memory
Yeah.
Yeah.
for folks. And I think they showed that very beautifully when they went through all the movie scenes to show what was happening with the war
Yeah.
while they were in prison. And then later they show the more modern scene when they're out and they're at the game finally.
I really like this scene too, when Claude drives the Superintendent Wilkins to go pick up the sheriff, was it Pickett?
Oh,
Yeah, Sheriff Pike. And Claude
yeah,
is
the bad
Claude
guy.
is by himself at the car, and it's the 70s, and he's looking around, and he's seeing all of these people, and all of these freedoms, and this music, and their hair, and everything. And it's just, so you can tell it's
It's foreign.
so overwhelming and different. Like, he
Mhm.
walked out of a spaceship. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And these aren't my humans. Like, where'd everybody
Right.
go?
He, the last thing he interacted with was a whites only diner
Yep.
and some awful, awful racist
Hillbillies.
and then going to prison for the rest of his life. So it had to be hugely disassociating.
One of the more breaking things for me is that they tried explaining to the sheriff that they didn't kill the man. Obviously, he knew that because he killed the guy. And it's just like, man, you can't have just one cop in charge of everything. Like, you can't, because then this stuff happens. Like, they told them that the booze was theirs, that they were bootlegging, and then they didn't do nothing with that body, and homie was just like, okay, you got nothing to worry about.
I'm sure the state of Mississippi will have nothing to care about if you just tell them the truth. Like, man, forget you, bro.
Right.
Yeah, they were making money off the capture of the Prohibition hooch. They were making money off the prison labor they were going to get
Yep.
from these two young men.
It's just like Old Man Pike said.
It was all, they got literally sold up the river.
It's just like Old Man Pike said, at least the state of Mississippi got 40 years of cheap labor out of them. And it's like, I just want to throw up. I just want to vomit.
And that shit really happens.
I just want to throw
really
up.
happens.
Ugh.
Prison labor is no joke. It is an awful practice. Prison in general.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But this was Eddie Murphy and Martin Lawrence's second film working together. So if you are a fan of them or just looking for a great comedy drama, definitely Life should be on that list. They have an amazing chemistry together on screen, and you'd think they had literally grown up together.
Wow.
And
so I did not know that it was the second. Oh, Boomerang was the first. Okay, I didn't know that. That's really cool. Nice little piece of, you're so good at that, Kitty. You just throw me off with your little random facts.
Well, that's all the time we have for today. Thanks for listening to our review of Life. Don't forget to subscribe to We Killin' It for more reviews of your favorite movies and TV shows. Just so you all know, Tyler has an ASMR sleep podcast coming out where he will put you all to sleep with all the random facts. I'm coming out with a tech review channel on YouTube where I'm reviewing a 3080 build from NoCompromiseGaming.com, as well as Kendi has a podcast coming out called Sidetracks, where she will take you on a deeper dive on some very interesting topics and people, including the amazing child superstar and later politician Shirley Temple. Just head to WeKillinIt.com to see when all that drops.
If you are enjoying the show, the best thing you can do is to tell a friend. Leave a positive review on Apple Podcasts or wherever you get your podcast fix. And if you have a suggestion or a story you want to share for us to read, just email us a PDF to listeners@WeKillinIt.com. I just want to thank you so much for listening and for connecting with us, Squad. You are awesome. And as always,
I've been Tyler.
I've been Matt.
I'm Kendi.
And we killed it.
We Killin' It podcast is written by us, Tyler Misla, Kendra Parrish, and Matthew Johnson. Editing is done by Matt and is produced by Tyler. Thank you for listening.